Ladies and gentlemen, it's your boy Sean P, the Apex Predator. And today's video, I want to pitch to you guys and to Blizzard this idea of making Widowmaker a team player. Actually, a buff that would make her more of a team player because, as you guys know, I'm Widow main. And for you guys that never play Widow or not Widow mains, you guys don't really know how it feels when you select the character, the hero that you want to play, and everyone flames you for it or gets upset or reports you. It's not a good feeling. It's not a good feeling. So here's my kind of idea of how we can buff Widow without making her OP, and she can also help out the team. Now, as you know, she does have a Venom Mine, a Venom Trap, which is kind of useless. It's good and bad. Most of the time, it's not really impactful. But I was thinking this. What if we give Widowmaker a second ability that she can choose from? So she goes through her inventory, and you can switch from Venom Mine or the this new ability, which would be a Smoke Bomb. Okay, what she would do with this ability is she would toss forward and shoot. Actually, it'd be a shot, just like the Venom Mine. So what this ability do is it would shoot out instead of the Venom Mine trap. She can choose a Smoke Bomb, and once it launches, it shoots the same way, but once she fires it, it creates this dark cloud of smoke in the area. Now, the visibility for enemies would be just darkness, okay? You can't see through it, and it's very hard to see when you're in it. For the team, it's lighter, and you can kind of see highlights and stuff like that, so that way your team can maneuver through it. That way you can't really troll your team, so your team can be able to see kind of through it, through a certain opacity, but the enemies can't see anything through it. Now, not only with that, is anybody in the smoke screen from your team, they can be detected by an opposing Widow's ult, Symmetra's lasers, Torbjorn's turret, Sombra's vision when people are low health, and Hanzo's sonic arrow. So nothing mechanically, or even actually Soldier's tack visor as well, you can't be detected in the smoke. So how cool would that be? And it kind of protects you, right? So let's look. Let me give you guys some examples. Imagine you're on attack on Anubis. You got Widow on your team, and you're attacking, right? You got the very first choke, and you know that first choke they got to set up. You got the shields, you got the turret from Bastion, and you got the Torbjorn, and you got Symmetra lasers everywhere. And it's very hard. Everyone knows it's kind of hard to kind of push through that choke. But a Widowmaker on your team, what she would do is pop that smoke grenade, a smoke bomb in the middle where the choke is, right? Any lasers would be just ineffective while the smoke is there. So the lasers wouldn't work. The turret couldn't detect your team while they move in. That's pretty much domain 2. And then the enemy has to kind of guess where you're at if they're just shooting through the smoke. And this will allow your team to kind of dive right through it and get to the sides. You can have Tracer or Sombra go run through it, Soldier running through it to the side. You can get your tanks out there, and it'll really help push forward. Let me give you another example. Let's say you're attacking Hanamura, and you got that first choke at the bridge, or at that gate, not the bridge, at the gate, right? So you got that first choke at the gate. You have a Widow on your team on attack, pops it, creates that black shroud, and your team just goes right through it. They have the potential. Meanwhile, turrets can't detect, lasers and turrets can detect your team as they move through it. So I think that'd be pretty cool. Another example would be Graviton from the enemy Zarya. She, Gravitons your team, and Soldier tries to clean up with the tack visor, but guess what? Widow on your team pops the smoke bomb on your team in the Graviton, and he can't detect the team. That'd be really cool. I think this ability should have like a 6-second cooldown, 6 to maybe 8. And I think it would really help Widowmakers be more of a team-oriented character. versus what they are now. And I think a lot of people wouldn't mind Widows coming up in the meta. This will also make her just viable enough, but not OP, where she'll be a must pick. Another good example is when you're defending and you got a Widow on your team. She is a defense slot character. But let's say you got Widow on your team on defense, and the enemies are trying to push in. A great combination right here is popping the smoke in a certain choke or certain path, and then you got your Junkrat and everyone else, you know, shooting right through it, and it's kind of spawning that area, just spawn trapping that area. And the enemies, what they do is when they, you know, hit that corner and they're trying to go through it, all they see is just darkness. So they don't know what's on the other side, you know, per se, but it will make them really a lot harder for them to kind of go through that choke or through that zone, and that can help the team kind of determine, you know, where they're at and things of that nature. So that's my proposal, but we'll see. So let's get this to Blizzard. I want this to go live. Just think about all the benefits it can reap, and also how balanced she could be. Like, she won't be OP at all, but she'd definitely be viable.
I've got you in my sights.
No one can hide from my sight.